There's a region in Central Europe 3 times larger than Belgium, which has become the home of several nations over the past 1,000 years. The people of these nations have turned this region into a multicultural land with a rich and exciting history. This is Transylvania, and its people are both economically and culturally totally exposed in their own land. But now we're facing Transylvania's historical chance. Currently, the people there are not allowed to decide on their tax revenues, national symbols, their children's textbooks, the developments they require, and what language of administration they may use. The Romanian state transfers back only a disproportionately small amount from the collected tax revenues here, and salaries are far lower than the national average. These facts work against development, even if this is an economically viable land. Throughout its history, Transylvania has been mostly autonomous with an inclusive society, but it's also been the victim of several wars and unkept promises. Its history began 70 million years ago with the geological formation of the Carpathian Mountains. Various cultures had been living here before this land was engaged in the Kingdom of Hungary. In 1224, for the first time in Europe, Transylvania's inhabitants were granted autonomy from the King of Hungary. The Mongols and Ottoman Turks raged on its land. Later, it became an autonomous power and played an important role in European political life for over 150 years. For the first time in history, freedom of religion was declared here in 1568. For a period of 160 years, the region became a principality of the Habsburg Empire. Revolutions and wars for independence came and were followed by peace again. In 1868, Transylvania was one of the first regions in Europe where the free use of native language was granted for all minorities. This freedom was later limited, and the peace ended with World War I. The Romanian army occupied Transylvania at the end of the war. After this, the Romanian National Assembly promised local councils free use of native language and proportional parliamentary representation to all nationalities. These promises have never been kept. With the Treaty of Trianon, the Allies awarded Transylvania to the freshly formed and only slightly larger Romania. During the past decades, the country has become a centralized nation-state, the aim of which is to culturally and religiously homogenize and economically repress the Romanian, Hungarian, German and Roma people, as well as several other ethno-national groups who live there. The facts that Romania has been a democratic state since 1989 and a member of the European Union since 2007 have not brought any major changes. In 2013, Hungarians in Transylvania formed the largest indigenous community in Europe without autonomy. More than 1,220,000 Hungarians can use their native language only to a limited extent in proportion to their number. They have no autonomous state university with higher education in the Hungarian language. They are politically exposed, and central government disregards the historical borders of the areas with a majority Hungarian population. Transylvania is the largest region in Europe without autonomy. But what is autonomy? The ethno-national communities have their own parliament and government, fiscal policy, multilingual administration, system of education, and they can use their national symbols and native language in the justice system. How does this work in the rest of Europe? 17,700,000 citizens belonging to various minority groups enjoy some kind of specific autonomy in Europe. Which ethno-national communities is autonomy for? The size doesn't matter. Let's see examples of South Tyrol or the Åland Islands. Transylvania is larger in territory than these regions. Still, it is not empowered with the previously mentioned rights. How will Transylvania find its way back to autonomy? For instance, it could follow Switzerland's 165-year-old example. Transylvania and Switzerland are similar to each other in more aspects than you would guess. However, in some major points, Transylvania is far behind Switzerland, since the latter supports multiple official languages, direct democracy, autonomous regions, confederation of cantons, and consensus government. In Switzerland, cantons of the confederation are allowed to decide on major questions related to their citizens' everyday life. And the official language of a specific canton is defined by the proportion of the ethno-national communities living there. The subregions in Transylvania are similarly diverse from ethno-national and linguistic points of view, and they also vary in their own and individual cultural and historical heritages. So what's the solution then?